Trusty Ape, here with you on No King's Day. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean President's Day, I guess 2026. I guess that's why it's a holiday. Uh, February 16th is a Monday. Rainy Monday here in the San Francisco Bay Area, California, USA. Uh, Greetings and salutations wherever, whenever you are. This one's kind of a bit of a recap, recent happenings, and random stuffs. Um, so first of all, I have noticed some people have left the channel. Three subscribers technically have dropped. I think over the past couple of weeks here, and I'm not sure who that was. I haven't launched the full investigation into this matter yet, but it could be any number of things. It could have been like sock accounts. It could have been trolls. It could just be random people who deleted their accounts for whatever reason, or maybe they just left this channel because they decided they didn't like it anymore, or something like that. We try not to read in too much of these things. Still got 250 heads here by my last count, and so that's kind of been our average. And I appreciate the people who have been here, have been solid, and have been hanging around for most of my YouTube career, if you can call it that. A lot of people imported over from my original Kevin Chaos channel over to here, and so I'm appreciative of those 250 subs, and everybody who comes by and comments and participates on panels and stuff, and I'm good with it. I haven't really made like a lot of attempts to grow lately, or really doing a whole lot of interesting content, I guess. I find it interesting, some of the conversations we have, and the random shit we find to watch over here. And so, yeah, I'm good with that. Oh, Skeptic Philosophy, good to see you. Appreciate the thumbs up, man. Yeah, and, everybody who, hits the like button and participates and all of that, it's cool. And so maybe, moving forward here, there might be some opportunities for growth. I was listening to James Apperson. He was talking about not necessarily leaving YouTube, but kind of changing his trajectory. Was that what I got out of that he was just kind of getting, bogged down and doing what he's been doing, and maybe, he feels he could do, more useful content, and like another, I don't know, yeah, with, just different stuff. And I totally get that. I've kind of tried to think of ways to branch out myself, maybe like more collaborations and things like that. But right now that's kind of been on the back burner, obviously, focusing on, my new profession and stuff like that, which I'm going to be testing for. So I'm going to be taking my official exam this evening. I'm going to have to cram for that after this. I was just kind of trying to clear my head and stuff. And so, of course, this comes up, and this ongoing drama with Jim Bob and the atheist community he despises. And he's definitely gained a lot of traction. We've been watching him for a while. He's been getting owned over at Answers in Atheism and Captain Just channel, especially on like Saturday Night at the Atheist and stuff. Jim Bob has gotten special treatment all over these parts, and now over the past several days here, he's been bodied by Professor Dave, Forrest Valkai, and Gutsick Gibbon in quick succession. So that's pretty fun to watch. And now he is reacting to that. So we got that going on. But I wanted to address a couple of things that I haven't really spoken on too much. I know I talked about the Renee Good shooting at the time that happened. Immediately after that, almost, we had the Alex Preddy shooting, which I haven't covered, but I think if you want to look at the more obvious of the two instances, the more indefensible, I guess you could say Preddy, right? Like both of them are extremely indefensible. And then there was another driver I heard who was shot by them, or shot at by them in Chicago. It's not clear to me whether the woman was hit by any of the bullets, but she survived, and is in court with them, I guess, right now, with the agents. And basically, from the story I've heard, I haven't seen videos of it, but it sounds like she's engaged in, like, she was following these agents around. Somehow her vehicle gets up beside theirs. There's like words exchanged through the window or whatever, and it sounds like these ICE agents like swerved to hit her vehicle, and then tried to claim that she had rammed them, and got out of their vehicle and then started shooting at her car as it was driving away, which is just fascinating to me, right? There's no world in which the cops would fucking do that reasonably. This is just crazy, crazy shit that these people are trying to justify. I actually have a message in my DMs from a personal friend, former coworker, and he had replied to something that I had reposted on Facebook, and I didn't respond to him in the comments, so he jumped into my DMs and started this whole thing about how, Biden and Obama kept kids in cages, that they deported more people than the Trump administration, and I just haven't replied because I'm like, okay, so if Obama and Biden were deporting more people and incarcerating more undocumented immigrants or whatever, then how is it justifiable for Trump to have ICE agents out roaming the streets, fucking bodying civilians, right? Like, and not getting the numbers that the Obama Biden administrations were getting, right? Like, it's completely ridiculous. It's like, so why is any of this necessary if they were capable of doing their jobs without, like, boots on the ground, so to speak, or whatever, like this hostile takeover, as I see it. And a lot of like political social commentators have like said a lot of the things I was thinking in the meantime, so I feel like I'd just be regurgitating those talking points anyway, because any number of people have similar opinions to mine, and much more prolific channels and stuff like that. So I think if they're gonna potentially get to anybody who's like centrist on this issue, I don't know who's really centrist on this issue. It's like either you support ICE going out and conducting these operations, or you don't, right? Like, you see that this is completely frivolous, like crazy dystopian happenings. Like, this is exactly why people who actually, talk about wanting small government or limited government or what have you, that's what they were talking about. They weren't talking about, like eliminating humanitarian aid, right? Like, those weren't the things that they were talking about. Really, like, most of these people are just concerned with their own, like, interest in paying less taxes and shit like that. But now more of that money is just going to ICE and having paramilitary organization, infiltrating and occupying our cities, which is really, really crazy to me. And I don't think it's going to go down well historically, but who knows when it's going to end, more importantly, right? Like, I guess luckily, like, the support for Trump is kind of on the decline, but we've seen that happen before, and then he somehow bounces back. So I don't know, between that and the fucking Epstein files, which is just too ridiculous to even discuss at this point, there's just a lot of shit going on. A lot of people in public office who need to be removed. They need to be permanently excluded from the arena of politics. I don't know if we can really reasonably exclude them from, like, business in such a way, like, these very wealthy people. If there's some way, at least if we know that they're using their wealth for, these terrible, criminal activities, could we, potentially remove them uh, from whatever it is that they're doing to make money, right? Like, I don't know. Is there some way? I have no idea at this point. It's just beyond my scope. I just know it's like, all of those crazy conspiracy theories that we talked about, like when I was younger, as a kid, as a punk rocker, like these are actually like, the types of people that we were, hypothesizing, or theorizing were out there, and now it's true. Like the politicians, these financiers, they're all in cahoots, and a good portion of them are spending their wealth to do high crimes, right? Like really really bad shit, up to and including possibly uh, you know uh, essaying and maybe cannibalizing children. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if there's like a lot of validity to that story, but it seems to be that there's maybe something behind it, and it's crazy to me that this is the world we live in, and all these truths are coming to light, and who knows like what the future holds as far as that goes. But we really need to pay close attention to these people's behavior. I mean, because it's telling, like especially in the case of Trump himself, and his like the people immediately surrounding him, the level of deflection is just off the hook. And personally, I think we should put something in place that says that they, that we can hold them in some way accountable for lying to us. If we know they're lying to us, I mean, it should be fucking illegal for these people to lie on this level, and they just do it every day, and we accept it, and somehow they don't face any repercussions. Like, that's crazy. If it was any member of the public, if it was a civilian or whatever, we would be obstructing justice. We would be obstructing an investigation. We would be, there are all kinds of different rules on the books that say that we can't do that, right? But we let them get away with it. It's ridiculous. Skyworks, 6009. Good evening. Trying to remain sane in an insane world. Yeah, well, that's basically the long and the short of it. With varying degrees of success. Valentine's Day got a bit rough, So, but we got through it. How did you get a 9 on? Wasn't it Skyworks 600 before? But now it's 6009. I don't know. Maybe I read that wrong before. But anyway, I digress. There's a. Yeah, so we got through it, but I'm pretty. I mean, I'm good today, but I'm nervous because I've got this exam, and well, I have multiple tries to retake it if I don't get it. It's a pretty big one, but I'm fairly confident that I've got it. But then, like, my whole work schedule this week is hectic because of school holidays and all of that stuff. So, and then if I do pass the exam, in the immediate aftermath, like following this week, I'm gonna, my schedule is gonna get expanded, and then I'm gonna have, basically like 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week and all of that good stuff, which I've been having kind of more limited hours lately. So it's exciting, but a little nerve wracking too, to know I'm gonna have to go back, full time. So, yeah, it's good. All good things. I guess I've been rambling for a few minutes. That's kind of what's up with me. And I'm still having like some issues with my throat, although I'm not sick anymore, but I'm having some ongoing issues with my throat that are concerning, and really need to get these the medical insurance benefits kicking in so I can go see a doctor, because yeah, it might be something serious. Skyworks says, I got through Valentine's Day by refusing to take part and just treating it like a regular day with the missus, and it went well. Congratulations. Yeah. I'm glad it went well for you guys. Yeah, I kind of tried to do something like that, but it didn't work out the way I planned, and yeah, you know, like we made it through, and now we're doing better. But it was a pretty rough day. I guess we'll listen to a little bit of whatever Jim Bob's saying over here. I've just been letting it play in the background so far, but this is kind of what I was listening to before I came on. And I saw him reviewing this, but I didn't see the original, so I went back and I looked at a bit of the original video on the line before I came back to this. But yeah, these atheists dedicated 7 hours to me. Not exactly the way it went down, but yeah, something like that did happen, I suppose.
We don't want to waste any time, Forrest, on me, the racist, bigoted, xenophobe guy. We don't want to dedicate an event to me. But by the way, I spent a lot of time sourcing some clips from his channel.
That sounds good. As we await the veritable.
Yeah, a bit of the backstory there. I mean, at least that I can give you from what I picked up. I guess Jim Bob's been shooting off emails to all these guys, kind of punching up, trying to get one of them to debate him, and they're all familiar with like you know, his history on modern day debates and Taco's channel and all of that. And then so he like hopped on MythVision, and Professor Dave was over there, and he kind of had like a mini back and forth with Professor Dave. They both made response videos to that. And Jim Bob was still talking mad shit. And then basically he's like asking for a formal debate, but he won't agree to the terms of debate with any of these people. So then Forrest and Erica were like, well, fuck it, we'll just like host an episode of The Line and invite him to call in. And I guess that's kind of where we're at now. I guess he must have called the show. I'm not actually sure if he called in the show at this point, but
Dishonest. I want a formal debate.
I mean, I somebody must have called in if they were on for 6 hours, almost 7 hours.
That's all right.
Loud and clear, Jim Bob. We hear you.
That's it.
First, you got your clip.
Yeah. And you stayed in my chat for a half hour after I told you that.
Yeah, I actually have two really quickly. Can you please play in my folder, Lux?
In my folder, this guy is so full of shit. I'm not going to spend any time. I'm certainly not going to do a dedicated event for Jim Bob. He's not worth my time. My standards are above his personality. By the way, Lux, can you go to folder 16, clip 17A of Jim Bob's stream?
Number one. Yep, number one.
Hey, what's up, Erica? Wonderful catch up on live. You're coming in to debate Forrest tonight. No, that's not a debate. Formal debates, okay? Formal debates. You guys setting up a live stream that it's two people and me calling in with no moderation, right? No independent moderator, where you control everything, is not a debate. Thanks for quoting at least as a debate. What I ask you guys, both of you, is will you debate evolution, you affirm it, and I cross-examine it from the inside? You denied that. You didn't want to do that. That's true. That's fine. If you want to do that, it's not your thing. You do more of like this other approach. Well, Gutsick doesn't really, she can snap back and stuff with some rhetoric or whatever. She's used to being attacked, whatever, you know, but she can handle it. But she's very, I gotta admit, she's very jovial about it.
Yeah, Jay Dyer's whole thing.
Where is?
I was gonna just do that. Yeah, the whole thing with him and Jay Dyer was pretty fucking hilarious. And now there's like music videos circulating around with them just like repeatedly using the word penis or references to penis in like a very short span of time too. Like if you watch the full clip, you're like, oh yeah, he's really hung up on dicks.
Now she has some, you know, from my view, of course, and she thinks this about me, is that she has a dogmatic position on this stuff. And
personally, I think vaginas are much more interesting than penises myself, but I don't know
why false beliefs should be corrected, or you should hold to a true belief about the age of the earth.
Tilting windmill.
Which is why...
Good to see you, Tilting Windmill. My understanding is that he wimped out and didn't call. Yeah, sounds about right. So you could just make a full reaction video to it and not even have to actually deal with the arguments.
About it. You know what I mean? She seems kind of like, she's kind of relaxed, honestly. Maybe you're not a debater? That's fine, too. No. Forrest crying behind the yeah. Mm-hmm.
What Jim Bob's talking to himself.
Gnostic, another $10. Erica Gutsick is working on her PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, but she doesn't want to talk philosophy. You think you need to tell her? I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't call and is currently raging out because they did a hit job on him. That's hilarious.
So what is it? Where does
So
she?
you're just gonna spend this whole stream dunking on him? I
No, I
love it.
think they honestly operate from this assumed neutral position. That they think they have a neutral position. Nothing against you for not being a debater.
So, once again, can't stress this enough. Very clearly, we are all on the same.
Chris says, "Hi Jim Bob. You said that the color gradient example these evotards use is disanalogous. Can you further explain the point?" Well, yeah. There's two things here. The color gradient was bringing up the point that, like, when I ask, how do you know when a clade begins or a new species ultimately, it's the case that it's now itself, it's brand new thing. And they admit they don't really have a standard for this, but then they use the color gradient to say, well, see where blue becomes purple? You see that? It doesn't make sense because, first of all, color doesn't actually change in the gradient. There's nothing that actually changes in the gradient. They're actually assuming a process
Well, he's talking about a gradient. Color exists on a spectrum.
actually changes. There's a moment it actually changes. It doesn't. It never changes. None of the colors actually change. Your observation of frequency. By the way, people who are colorblind or have malformed
Yeah, no, wait.
eyeballs.
So I actually had to
that's
look
not true
this
for-
term up. I'm looking at this term right now because the color gradient is not really a term that anybody uses. But gradient color, also known as color ramp or progression, is a smooth, gradual blend between two or more colors or different tints of the same color. Right? So he's talking about like an artistic method, a method of blending colors in when you're doing, that type of stuff.
It doesn't work. Color doesn't change. They're arguing that the actual things change. That's the argument for evolution.
So I can't like describe it in detail. The color exists on a spectrum. It has to do with light wavelengths and shit like that, right? Like, so what we perceive as colors, are actually like electrical impulses received by our brains, right? To just identify objects in the natural world.
They're just arguing, what is it called? Soreit's paradox? They're just trying to cope and say, well, I get to say it objectively changes, but you don't get to ask me how I know that, because otherwise you're arguing for the grain of sand problem or the beard. Well, that's still not analogous.
The beard?
You know why?
What is that?
Because even with a mound of sand, sand doesn't change. Sand doesn't change. It's just more sand. It's just the volume.
Lost Tilting Windmill says, I can't stand him. Feel my ire rising. Gotta dip out. Thanks. He's such a child and a grifter. I agree with that. Yeah, a lot of people are getting tired of Jim Bob out here. I find it hilarious whenever one of these guys starts to rise. Another guy that's been kind of coming back is G-Man. He kind of got unstuck from his deconstruction zone loop and has been doing kind of some different stuff, I guess. It doesn't really change a lot with G-Man, but I noticed Will Freeman was over there a few nights ago or something in the chat when I was listening in, and G-Man actually addressed Will Freeman in the chat. He didn't make any kind of relevant response to whatever he was saying, but I didn't want to try to pull that up at some point too, because he's made a point to say, oh, I'm not going to fuck with Deconstruction Zone anymore, so we'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, anytime one of these guys kind of rises up and gets pinballed around by the atheist community, and then kind of sit in the corner proclaiming victory, you can see the trajectory of these channels. They get a lot of traction, and then they finally get exposed to whatever degree to their own following, and and then they're left with an echo chamber of lolcows, and you can see like everybody in their comments is a fucking lolcow or a troll.
The beard is the volume. A dark room to a light room. We're still talking about a type of volume change. That's what we're talking about. That's not what the claim is for evolution. It's not about volume. It's about fundamentally the sand itself changing to something. Not whether or not there's an amount of sand that becomes a pile.
Oh,
That's not what's in
Jesus.
question. Question is that the sand itself, under that analogy, would change into not sand. That's what you're talking about. The nature of something itself.
Stream. The clip that Erica played was from the very end of the stream. We are
I
all on the
mean,
same page.
Is he talking about like how like rocks, rocks become sand, and then through that's there's like geology and shit happening, right? So sand does take on it's like the water, steam, and ice thing. It's like it's still the same type of matter. It's not becoming a different type of matter, but it is changing in its form, right? In this case, minerals, I suppose. Like, it's all made up of minerals and like silica and shit. I don't know. I'm not like super into geology. It's not my big thing. And then we got this from Sea Science Film Labs. I saved this one. I thought this was funny. Taken from the Professor Dave and Kent Hovind debate on Modern Day Debates.
I hate to interrupt, because I want to try to get through as many. Maybe last one, and then I think Ken might have to go.
Yeah,
John
let's
White,
do another one, though.
They thanks for your super chat. They said dissentfromdarwin.org over 1,000.
He calls it the majority opinion fallacy or argument ad populum. I think argumentum ad populum is the technical term. I've never heard it called majority opinion fallacy, but
1,000 PhD holders disagree with evolution. Oh, okay. They capitalized the EVOL.
Of course.
And then they said, must be a scholar or hold a PhD to sign the petition. Get with the times. So I think that's a challenge more directed toward you, Dave. If you want to respond, you can.
So you found a couple of people that that disagree. I don't understand. What's the problem?
Okay, apparently Google agrees that some people call this the majority opinion fallacy. I don't think I've ever heard it that way though.
Hold on. All right. We will go. Kent, if you have to go, not a problem. I have kept you past
Hang
the
on,
time.
James, let me say one thing to what he said.
Is
there.
that like it was like his producer or whatever in the background was like, actually, you probably shouldn't address this one, Kent. Like, tell him you got to go, man.
Several times throughout this debate at the beginning, he said all scientists believe A, B, C, D, E. Is not correct, Dave. It's not all scientists. But I would like to point out, this is a very poor argument for majority opinion. Did you know all the scientists in North Korea think communism is wonderful, and you don't dare publish anything in a journal over there against communism?
What does that have to do? What does politics have to do with anything?
I'm trying to point out the obvious, that the fact that in any culture a majority believes something doesn't make it true. The majority.
I would say the political influence on science actually like is very negative, right? Because I think you had the majority of scientists during the like nuclear. What do they call it? Would we call it the nuclear arms race? I guess like when they were trying to design big bombs, right? Like Einstein and Heisenberg and those guys. Like most of them were like, oh yeah, this is not technology we should be fucking around with. But because of the political situation and everything, basically, the government, got them to do it, to make nukes and hydrogen bombs and shit. That really most scientists were like, oh no, we don't really need to do this. But then they got some super smart guys to do it anyway.
The majority of the Germans followed Hitler. 55 million of them. 120 million Russians followed Stalin during World War II.
What does that have to do with science? What does that have to do
I'm trying
with
to
science?
explain to you, Dave. You're using majority opinion, which means nothing. The majority of George Washington's doctors thought he had bad blood. Take his blood out. He'll get better. And they killed him.
Oh, you're going to use an example from 300 years ago to talk about bad science? Is that really appropriate?
And leaching was popular consensus for a long time. So, I mean, that's kind of a good point, but it's a weird point, right? Because it's actually, like, absent of actual science, right? Like, that's like the religious version of science, where they were like, oh, yeah, maybe there's something wrong with his blood. Let's just do bloodletting, right? And then people just did that, like, most of the time because they didn't actually understand germs and bacteria and shit.
100 years ago?
So George Washington was not 300 years ago. You need to do some history lessons, but that's okay.
That's mathematics, sir.
1799. He died. That's less than 300. That's 220 years.
Two and something.
Okay. 200, 300. You should run for government. You'd make a
Give or take, yeah.
good politician. Spend money
Oh,
like
that's
crazy.
cute. That's a cute joke, Kent.
Thank you. I appreciate your
Yeah.
compliment. Now, my point
Why
is,
are you going 200 and some years back to find bad science? Is it because
well,
that's
you don't
where
think
all
there's
bad
been any
science is?
has there been no
Sorry, I missed a chat. Skyworks said his specific argument with sand is when does a bunch of sand become a pile of sand, not what classifies as sand. Well, he was saying something about sand becoming something other than sand, which sand does. Like, sand is capable of, like, well, it's still going to be made up the same basic composition, right? Like, it's a mineral, a composite of minerals, but sand can accrete and form new rocks, basically, right? And they probably do other things, be incorporated into other systems as well. So I'm sure all kinds of things happen to sand. It remains like, essentially the same stuff, right? But it gets repurposed and redistributed throughout the ecosystem or whatever.
bad science in the last 10 years where they prove something wrong? This
Well,
happens all
sure,
the
science
time.
is changing all the time, but you cannot
Hey,
say that
you're getting
geologists
it.
don't unanimously agree that the Earth is 4.6 billion years old. You're putting radiometric dating.
Hey, Crazy Share, good to see you. Oops. I accidentally hit the refresh button while I was messing around over here. I'm going to have to find
I hate
where
to
it was in
interrupt
the
just
video.
to because we
My
want
bad.
to try to get through as many. Maybe last one,
But
and then I
good-
think Ken might have to go.
Oh,
Yeah,
John
let's do
White,
another one.
Mute you, son of a
They
bitch.
thanks for your
Oh, there. Okay.
sent
yeah,
from
good to see you.
Darwin.org. Over 1,000 PhD holders disagree with.
It's not cooperating with me now. I accidentally hit the refresh button, but yeah, good to see Sherwills.
Geologists don't unanimously agree that the Earth is 4.6 billion years old. You're putting radiometric dating against someone begat, which is not science.
Listen to what you just said. Scientists unanimously agree
Yeah.
the Earth is 4.6 billion years. You are mistaken. They don't unanimously
I
agree
said
to that.
geologists. Find me a geologist that does not believe in the 4.6 billion year old Earth.
Oh,
Find
this
me
is
a
very simple, Dave.
geologist that
If
doesn't believe
if
it.
I find you a geologist like Kurt Wise, who does not believe the Earth is 4.6 billion years old, has a PhD from Harvard, you will say he doesn't count because he doesn't believe the majority. If I say something, you'll say, Hovind, you don't know any science, so it wouldn't matter. If anybody disagrees with you, you disqualify them at the beginning.
Well, I think the problem with those guys, right, like any creationist scientist who starts out as a creationist, right, and then once they find out that so much of the evidence contradicts their pre-existing beliefs about the age of the Earth, if they were already into young Earth creation or whatever, right, and they can't reconcile those two things, then they're gonna backpedal and try to find a reason to poke holes in this theory. Like, why is it that the Bible tells me X and yet my science tells me Z, right? And then they're gonna say, oh well, there's a problem with all these scientists, and like, and it's weird because if they're presupposing certain things in the Bible are true, like like biblical genealogy or whatever, genealogical timeline, then that's their reason for dismissing whatever evidence is in front of them. But on the flip side of that, they will say that the people that are doing science, right, are presupposing the Earth is old, but they don't have, there's no dogmatic text that is describing that to them, right? It all comes from the observations of scientists. So there's no other book that says, oh no, you must believe the Earth is 4 point something billion years old or whatever. Like, that's just based on the observations and calculations of the actual science. Whereas on the flip side, if you want to believe the Earth is young, you're basically just relying on the Bible to make that assertion, right? So it doesn't actually work in reverse.
But you refuse to discuss the evidence that supports it. You will not discuss
I've
this
been
evidence.
asking
You
for the
will not
evidence.
discuss radiometric dating. Why won't you discuss radiometric dating?
We didn't get into that tonight. I'll be glad to, but we're out of time. Let's do that next time. But I asked for the evidence of any animal ever producing a baby that was a different variety, obviously a different kind.
And as I told you, speciation occurs, but you refuse to define kind. That's why it's a game that can't be won,
That's
because
why
if
we have-
it's a species, you're wrong. And if it's not a species, it does not violate evolution at all.
That's why we'd have to use
You finally
examples.
understand what I'm
Dave.
saying.
Dave,
Yeah, when they say kind, it's like it's a vague word. I mean, it indicates a distinction, or it indicates difference without elucidating the actual distinction, I guess. Would that be the right word? Because there's like, yeah, a difference without a distinction, I think is how that's worded. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'm using that wrong, but
a strawberry becoming a strawberry is not evidence that a protista became a whale.
What do those two things have to do with each other? I'm not a
They
dumb
have to
person.
do
that you're
with
trying
showing
to
you have a
con.
religion. You don't have a science, you have a religious
Nope.
belief.
No moral code, no social structure, no evoking a deity, no rituals. It is not a religion. You can call it one, but you're wrong.
yeah, I got it backwards. They say distinction without a difference. But yeah, either way.
Okay.
Yeah,
You have an imagination, a wild imagination.
I didn't
that
imagine
strawberries-
anything. I didn't imagine.
Yeah, out of time at a very convenient time. Yeah, it seemed like they pushed for that. Like there was some dude in the background who said something, and then James, the moderator, was like, "Oh yeah, Kent, do you really have to go? You could just go." Like yeah, I'm sure he probably was on some kind of time constraint, but that was just I don't think I've seen this full debate, but yeah, I would guess that was like his easy out, and he's not going to take it. He's obviously he keeps arguing for a few more minutes here, but.
Imagine anything. It's a miracle. What does
Do you
strawberries
imagine-
have to do with it?
We can.
What
Do
is
you
Star-
imagine?
Whoa, I'm so
Do you imagine
sorry.
that the entire,
Guys,
all the
1 second.
planets, all the stars are in
Guys,
a dot? You imagine
yeah.
everything squeezed into a
Yeah.
dot?
I almost feel like James is trying to get out of it at this point. Also, funny side note here. I still watch modern day debates and all that, on occasion. I don't usually have time to, really give, my attention to the full debate, but I'll let them run and hear what people have to say and find interesting tidbits and stuff. But regardless, I was watching the video. Dapper Dinosaur the other day apparently had some choice word for James and refused to debate on modern day debate. I think that might have also been in relation to Jim Bob. They were asking him to come on and talk to Jim Bob, and he was like, "Fuck Jim Bob," and in a much more eloquent way, of course, 'cause it's Dapper Dinosaur, was like, "Fuck Jim Bob," and moreover, "Fuck you, James," and "Fuck your platform." And so, I'd highly recommend checking that out if you're not aware. He made his email with James public, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
The evidence
jump in.
supports it. I'd be
I
happy
just
to
wanna-
discuss it.
I just want
So
to
you
jump
do
in
imagine that.
just to.
Thank you, James. Okay.
We can, if you have to go, totally understandable, Kent, as you've already stayed way longer than we agreed on, and so we really appreciate you staying extra time. And if you have to go, no problem. I do
Yeah,
want.
I do.
You bet.
Yes, I do.
So where do we go next? That is the question. We really have I think this is the one we're watching. I saved this for other reasons. I guess we'll just go down the list. We'll go take a look at G-Man's. Oh, he unlisted it?
It's the #1 e-beggar on the internet.
I still have it 'cause I already
Revelation
saved
I want
it.
to be the best e-beggar possible.
So, why do I make
Oh, maybe that
racist
was,
jokes?
oh no, that was Wes's video that was unlisted. This one's still public. Okay. Anyway, yeah, but I saved that to watch later, so, alright.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Because I can.
So, hey, G-Man, what's up? It's
So yeah, it also looks like I think he made this one, and this is on his other channel as well, I think. Specifically because this chick was apparently talking shit about him or something.
But,
so.
I had to do this today. You want to know why? I'm on Loudmouth Hussey's YouTube channel, and I want to show everybody something here. Sure, all of you can see this. See, the video I was going to respond to is no longer here. I can't find it. You know, I left a couple of comments on there. I said that he was bored. I said that he was, you know, I corrected him in one of his, actually I laughed at him in one of his statements that he actually made. I guess somebody went to him in private and told him that he's a lying, you know, bearded lady, which he's going to get. Today he's going to get G-smacked. He kind of had this coming. But anyway, he took down the video of all of the lies that he said apparently this morning. So again, this is what we see here, but these are not the videos that I was planning on responding to. So Loudmouth Hussey, allow me to introduce you to something here. This is called the G-smack you're going to get today. Allow me to demonstrate. This is going to be your face, metaphorically speaking. And this
is he gonna smack himself in the face? Oh no, he's gonna. He's just gonna smack his hands together.
Going to be my hand, metaphorically speaking.
That's actually your hand, buddy.
Statements that you made today, then I'm gonna. And I'm going to fact check everybody here for themselves. Problem is, you took down the video, so that's not my problem, Hussey. And
I don't know if this is better than Whacking Atheist. I'm
if
not
you
sure.
try to edit it or whatever, I'm not the only person that saw the video, so just want to put that out there. You said a couple of things in this video, Hussey, that I want to respond to, but I do have a video I do want to respond to. Some things that was said on your YouTube channel. And from what I understand, Hussey, is you've been in court with many different people on here, and you won all your cases. First of all, allow me to give you a congratulations, sir, for all of the court cases that you won against the people that you took to court. Let me just do this here for you real quick. You're a fair guy. Let me do it for you again. You keep running your mouth, sir. This is gonna be the first one you're gonna lose.
Skyworks. So yeah, he's I guess he's talking to a content creator called Loudmouth Hussey, who I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I'm not sure what the original video. He says they were talking smack about him, and then apparently there was an email exchange, and they took the video down. So now he's mad because they took down the video that he wanted to respond to, where these people were talking shit about him apparently. So that's kind of what I got out of this. But I'm not familiar with the content creator, so I don't know much more than that.
Okay, and you're gonna lose badly. Allow me now. This one I'm gonna be kind of serious a little bit, guys. But after a little bit, I'm gonna get goofy and humiliate him in a minute. And he's not gonna like it. So he said some stupid stuff on his channel. And Hussey, by the way, Hussey, request a link and you can get this done in real time. You want to start with me? You want to get my attention? You want to get me talking about you? Fine, no problem. Bring your punk, lazy, gossiping, don't know what you're talking about, Rudy Poo candy butt in this room and face the final boss in this room today. Okay? Just ask for the link. See, I went to your channel. I went to your channel and I dealt with you like a man. Why don't you come in here as a half a man with your little wig and your little lipstick? You know what I mean? Leave the village for a little bit. Come in here just for 5 or 10 minutes and come take this beating like a man. Okay, that's what's gonna.
So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say must be a trans content creator that he's addressing now. Really weird. Like the shit he just said. So yeah, I don't know. I have to investigate more.
Really happened because you said some stuff on your channel that I would like to address with you, sir. Because out of everybody in this community who heard about Shani and Rev, I can tell you know the absolute least about my history with them. You know little to nothing, and yet you got on here and you just the way you can just freely say stuff in ignorance is absolutely amazing. With some of the stuff that you said on your channel, legal stuff that you actually got into. You got into some legal stuff on your channel, like you're some type of lawyer or a judge or something like that. And I would like to address some of the things that you said on your channel. I said on this channel that this is going to be the channel that I'm going to use, and I'm going to be dealing with people on these serious matters. As a matter of fact, hold on a minute. I'm a little curious about something here. This is sewing and reaping, right? I didn't do this on G-Man again, did I? Okay, cool. Okay, so let's actually deal with one of the things that you said. Now, like I said, I would let you all hear it, but I'm not the coward that took it down from my channel. I'm not a coward after I left a comment that put it on private or unlisted or whatever he did because he didn't want me to talk about what he actually said. You know what I mean? So I want to show everybody Hussey's channel again. Just give me a second here.
He told me.
Okay, hold on a minute. That's a different video from a day ago. Let me see. This I don't play this mess when people start saying this kind of stuff to me and they can't prove it. You know what I mean? So Hussey's gonna get his feelings hurt here today because he got me mixed up with some other YouTubers on here. So again, he took down the video And I believe the video was the one when I talked about Shani and what she needed to do in order
Sorry,
to,
I hope you guys couldn't hear that.
you know, get her life and everything together. Like I said, sadly enough, it's not on here. This is his channel. It's not on
Keep
here.
showing us the.
I looked on my.
I guess we could look this up for. We'll do it on another tab actually. I had multiple distractions come up there, so I missed some of that. But sounds like this person must be a trans content creator, since he made this whole like half a man reference and shit. Which G-Man does like on a regular basis. Like, I think he used to. God, why can't I think of the name right now? Shit. Dude, I'm brain farting. There was another trans person in the debate community who G-Man has been around. Brenda, that's right. And G-Man's one of those who like intentionally misgender them to try to, like, specifically because they're failing at debate, and so they will try to throw out, you know, misgendering and shit. And then I guess it must be this one. It appears to be the main channel, and then there's like a some kind of troll channel that I don't think is this person. Is this right? Oh yeah, there we go. And they apparently posted a response to this. But they posted something on this like 2 days ago and 16 hours ago, so they're on here. Oh yeah, here we go. The only one getting smacked is you. There's like a response to this video, so yeah, it's like it's a few days old or a week old or something. But there's multiple responses since. But I'm not sure about the identity of this person. There's not really any information on there. I can't tell if they're trans or not, or if he's just like, what's going on. But there are like thumbnails on one. It looks like well, they're both wearing the same sunglasses and have similar hair, but one has a goatee and one does not. I don't know why if there's two different people here or what's going on. It's kind of, yeah, unclear.
Comments here. And it's not on here. Can't find it. What happened to the video? Only the content creator could take that video down.
Oh, I've sure asked send the link. I'm not gonna send the link to that video specifically, especially because Wes unlisted it, and I'm not sure why. So I don't want to put anything out publicly if he doesn't really want it out. Maybe I could ask him, or I'll go look at the video myself and see what's up. Maybe he reposted it. I'm not sure. Like, some creators don't know that this can happen. Like, if you have a video that's posted publicly and somebody saves it to a playlist or has it in their watch history, when you unlist it, those people can still see that video unless you make it private. So you have to actually change it to private, because unlisted doesn't take it out of your watch history or your playlist. So I want to make sure, because Wes is a good creator and does a lot of work for the community, so I don't want to release anything that he may have not intended to be released. So yeah. And sure asks, have you debated this guy? I have not debated G-Man. I've been in his side chats a couple times. A couple times he has addressed me, and then on other occasions him or his moderators have deleted my comments. So I've never gone up on one of his panels. I really find him just more fun to fuck with, because he gets obviously all emotionally entangled in these things. So and yeah, Skyworks is a good point. G-Man doesn't really do debates too much, as far as I'm aware. It generally just rants, although he did do debates back in the day. He still considers some of his rants fucking W's, which is really funny, considering he's generally talking to trolls at this point. Tilting Limos' argument go. Oh, sure. I was talking about Dino Guy. No, I have not been on with Hovind at all. I've actually avoided Hovind in particular. But he's been owned by so many really good, like, actual, people in the sciences who have, like, good knowledge of this. Yeah, so I don't know. If I would ever debate Hovind, I don't know. It would have to be like it would not be able to be one of those topics because I just don't have enough of the knowledge of the things that he brings up, like specifically in geology and stuff. Those topics kind of get a little beyond my set of knowledge. Like I'm more into the logic of like why you believe certain claims, right? And so that's where I would want to go. Like I would prefer to go the other way. I don't really feel the need to defend evolution, and I think it's more incumbent upon them to defend any claim out of the Bible. And I don't know. That's kind of I would rather focus on that. But I do find it funny to listen to, and I learn a lot from it because I'm actually listening to the people that they're debating and learning from that. So I guess if that made any sense, but yeah.
Hussy, you said something in that video that I want to address. You was asking people, wondering whether or not I was in contact with Revelation News, with Jason, whether or not I was actually in contact with him. First of all, Hussy, two things. If I was in contact with Jason, unless he says something, that's the only way you're going to find out. That's number one. And number two, if it's not happening, I'm not in contact with him. I'm not on the phone with him. We're not having secret conversations because you all know this guy can't keep a secret if it smacked him in the face and gave him $1 million. He couldn't. The guy can't keep a secret. So if I was in contact with Rev, everybody would know because this buffoon would tell everybody. Okay? So no, I'm not in cahoots with Rev. I'm not contacting him. But if I did, it's none of your business. But let's get into this here for a minute. You said something very interesting. You said that I would only want to contact him because he was coming into money. That's what you said. That's what you said.
Well, I mean, technically that was like kind of your angle before, right? Like you wanted to help him out so much, but you also knew that he was sitting on this inheritance or whatever before they blew it, so you want to get a piece of that. So that does seem to be like a motivating factor. It's like, oh, why would I help this person out? Oh, because I think I'm going to get something in return, right? So I could see that accusation, coming.
Hey, I think that's one of the reasons why you took your video.
Well deserved.
You know how stupid you was going to look in a minute. Yeah, the only reason I wanted to
Yeah, the whole like Shani and Rev update, like for anybody who's not following that, is basically Rev went to jail, got out, and then Shani was trying to get him kicked out of the house, but she couldn't. So now Rev was back in the house, and I believe he got Shani out of there. Or I don't know if he's evicted her or what the deal was with that. But yeah, that was kind of the whole thing, was she thought she was in control and found out she wasn't in control. So, and then, yeah, they were both, like, one was streaming in this room, the other one was streaming in the other room, and they're, like, yelling at each other at the wall. Some crazy bullshit like that.
To contact this guy is because he had money.
I'm not following it deeply, but that's, like, the gist of the situation. It's like, Shani thought she was going to pull the same shit on Rev, and it didn't work this time, so.
And I wasn't going to get no house according to you. That's what you were saying, right? That's what you said. You said that I wanted to contact him because he was coming into money.
Hey, Halsey, good to see you. Did I hear the G-Man rap? Which one? Is there a new one? I'm not sure. If you have it, yeah, send it over. Is this a Breakfast Tacos thing? I heard the one he did for Missing Mod. I thought that was great. Of course, probably like AI generated, but that was pretty fucking good. I thought that was clever.
This is the difference between me dealing with an informed person who knows about this topic versus a person who's not informed. A buffoon, a moron, an ignorant person who doesn't know what they're talking about. And that would be you, Hussy. That would be you. Then you want to know why I can't find a Christian girlfriend? Listen to me, sir. Before I get on with this G-Smack and everything and when I hit you with some logic, before I do that, I I understand that you don't have no job, you have no career, you have nothing going on for you whatsoever. I get that.
This person has like twice as many subscribers as G-Man on YouTube. I'm guessing they probably get donations over there, and there's only 100 videos up on that channel. So I mean, not even like a great deal of content. Although most of them are, looks like most of them are like 2-3 hour videos. There's some 30 minutes, but most of them are pretty lengthy. I don't see. Oh, this one's 5.5. Not a lot of lengthy panels, but a couple there. So yeah, but pretty successful for considering like the amount of content that's on there, and it appears to all be covering lolcows, from what I could tell. There's some members only streams. I don't know. Yeah.
I understand that, sir. But to sit around gossiping about little old me, that's not necessarily healthy for you. Because then I'm going to learn about it, and if I think you said enough stuff.
Is that something that I can find in the Musicians United, Halsey? I don't know about if that's something I can just search up on YouTube. Maybe I can look. Let's see if I can find G-Man Rap.
And I think you're worth my time. I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna finish you. And ain't gonna be no, G-Man that was weak and all that. I'm gonna finish you. You still butthurt over what I did on your YouTube channel when I made you look stupid, and I showed everybody, while logically speaking, that argument that you made on there where G-Man didn't do enough. You look stupid on there. Well, I'm gonna hurt your feelings right now. You see?
So interesting piece of side lore. So I was searching G-Man Rap on YouTube, and I got an automatic, result that said G-Man roast Freeman, and I was like, what? Because I was saying that Will Freeman was just over there the other day, and I saw him in the comments. But no, this is from, I have no idea what this is, but something called SFM, and there's a number of animated videos, and this one's G-Man roasts Gordon Freeman. It's from 5 years ago, and then this is a whole series of short clips of this animation, and I have no idea where this comes from. But it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. G-Man roast Freeman is a popular search, apparently. This video's got, let me see, 2.4 million views. Of course, it's from 5 years ago, but just kind of interesting stuff there. The things you will find on YouTube. No, apparently there is actually a number of rappers that go by G-Man on YouTube, and so I'm finding a lot of irrelevant G-Man rap videos, but and then there's a G-Man versus JF rap battle from the Drunken Peasants from 10 years ago. So yeah, I don't know if there's a new one. I don't have access to it, but I'm definitely interested.
If your channel wasn't just predicated upon Shanny and Rev.
I know you guys did you ever finish the Jill compilation? I know that you guys were talking about working on that a while ago, on getting clips from Jill and putting that to music. That I was very interested
4 hours a day, 7 days a week, because you ain't got nothing else to talk about, and you didn't need to create drama in order to be relevant on here. You wouldn't have to get on here and look stupid and make stuff up about me. So, the only reason I would want to contact Jason is because he's coming into money, huh? Let me educate you on some history between myself and Jason and Shannon so that you can understand this. By the way, everything I'm saying right now can be backed up on the Fat Courtney Love YouTube channel. And the funny...
Yeah, Fat Courtney Love, of course. The history, the lore according to G-Man, straight out of the horse's mouth.
Go look it up. They were living in Boulder, Colorado. They thought they were rich, and we were enemies. Think about what you're saying in a minute. One reason he wants to be friends with him or want to contact him because he wants to get his money. Oh yeah, I want his welfare check. I definitely want his welfare check. I definitely want his welfare check.
I know the situation was, at the time at least, they invited him out there. They were excited to meet up with him and make content together and all that shit. They were all enthusiastic about it, right? But So yeah, that part would be bullshit as far as what I understand. Like if anybody was accusing him of, but of course, like again for him, he's going to be exploiting the situation. He's going to be like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity for me, and then he gets out there and sees the actual conditions of their lifestyle, their environment, and goes, oh no, wait, you guys gotta let me help you out with some of this stuff. Okay, cool. But he is obviously expecting some payoff in return, even if it's just YouTube clout at that time, right? Because he's got no way of. I don't think he's a mastermind who predicted the future and manipulated the whole situation. I think they're just that dumb, and things unfolded how they unfolded, right?
I couldn't wait till I was done working to be able to get on here and lay off and smack it down all over your cottage cheese confused behind. And you're very confused, sir, in more ways than one, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to get away with saying this stuff to you, Bussy. You want to know why? Because you ain't got the talent, the skill, or even the utter ponage to be able to deal with a person like me. I know the law just like you. And the beautiful thing, sir, unlike these other YouTubers, I'm your neighbor. I'm right across the Hudson River. Okay? I know how to get to Chinatown. I know how to get to New York. I know how to get to the village. I can get on the PAP train. As a matter of fact, that sounds like a future video. Oh, don't worry, sir. I won't come anywhere near your neighborhood. I don't want to go.
It sounded like you were making a threat of violence, but what are you actually talking about then?
There's too many confused people that live over there. I don't want to go anywhere near your world or your neighborhood, sir. I don't want to go anywhere near your neighborhood, sir. Anywhere near it. Nowhere near it. I used to go to a church. What was that on 17th Street? I used to go to a church called Mount Zion. And when you can unglue your butt from the couch, you can go walk over there, stop playing video games, gossiping about people. You can go over there and confirm that there's a church over there called Mount Zion. I believe it's in between. Actually, that's a good question. Whether in between 6 or 7 Street, I forget where. Not far from Chelsea. But all I know is that on 17th Street, I went to a church called Mount Zion. I have a baptism certificate to prove I went to that church. Okay? So I know all about that area. I know all about the village. I know all about the World Trade Center and that whole area and whatnot. I know all about Chinatown and that whole area over there.
Okay, guy. We got you.
So you ain't intimidating me. You don't scare me. And I'm more hood than you, sir. Because I am quite sure about who and what I am. You, on the other hand, can't be so confident about that.
You like bragging about being hood now?
Now, I'll say, since you need something to react to, according to you, I would want to befriend Jason because he's going to come into money. When I had my most heated time with these two, my most heated time with these two people was when he had $750,000. That was my most heated time with him, especially when you're dealing with two rich white people against one poor black man, G-Man. I mean, like, seriously, I'm going to be rich. No, G-Man.
I want to say there's like a distinction there. They weren't at any point rich, right? Like they came into some money and they blew it like fucking suckers do, right? Because that's why they're not actually wealthy. They're not actually rich, right? People who are rich or wealthy are able to maintain that wealth and invest it and, all that good shit. And Shannon and Rev never met those qualifications. They just came into some money and then they blew it.
You're going to be poor. Nobody likes you in that neighborhood anyway. Go do your research, old man, before you get on here and talk about my topics. I'm sorry, before you talk about me. Okay, go do your research, because you, sir, don't know what you're talking about. And I found this other piece of video on your channel, this little part that you're going to talk about on here, to be very interesting, sir. Because you like to threaten people with lawsuits and all this other stuff. You're not worth threatening for a lawsuit. I don't want your Social Security check, okay? I don't want your disability check, okay? I don't want your hamburger money, all right? So I'm just going to put that. I'm not interested in that. If I want to deal with you, I'll deal with you like I deal with everybody else. I'll do it head on, man to half a man. Well, man to wannabe man. Can I really call you that? Because you might identify as a cat or a fox or something. Man to identifying as a fox. Or whatever it is that you confuse people believe. I don't know. Oh, your feelings getting hurt, Elsie. Or your feelings getting hurt.
Boring.
Or why don't you go to AI and ask AI to help you? I can use AI too. You ain't the only person that knows how to do that.
You have some Brett Keane shit going on here pretty quick.
To make a rap against me. You'll stop responding to me. I'm begging you to make a rap against me.
Is
You'll
that
stop
the one we're
responding
talking
to me so-
about? Is that the one? Is there a G-Man rap on Hussey's channel that I didn't see? He begged him to make a rap against it. I'll check that out.
So fast you won't know what happened after you hear the first 2 or 3 lines of what I'm gonna say about you. Because you got this big bullseye on your face that says, attack me. You make it too easy for a person like me. Way too easy. I might go on the drunken pet, and I honestly might go on there. And I might actually include you in the pwnage I'm planning on doing to those guys. That would be a lot of fun. I have to take my time when I do my thing. But anyway, no, I'm not contacting Jason. I'm not interested in his money. I would like for the guy to get his life together so he can get an apartment, get some masculinity, stop acting like a weirdo on here with his little ears and acting like he's something he's not. And I would like for him to act normal, genuine.
Oh yeah, this
Not
touch
be a
too
child
deep.
abuser.
I don't see the rap.
Be productive to our society. What's your next video going to be about, Hussey? Is your next video about G-Man going to be where G-Man's going to be friends with Shanny? Okay, let's say hypothetically speaking that was true. G-Man was going to be friends with Shanny. G-Man was going to go out with Shanny. G-Man was going to date Shanny. Let's just say hypothetically speaking that's true. Hussey, this is my response to that. Okay? That is none of your business.
So he's not denying it. He's saying none of your biz.
If people don't know how I feel about those two, they ain't never going to know. Did you not see the opening of this video? Like, what else do I got to do on here? Oh, I forgot.
I do. I wonder. I think like somewhere in his mind, like it seems like he does have interest in Shanny, but like he actually has like some like weird sense of morality because he was there for the whole thing. Like Shanny was with some other dude. I think his name was Chris before Jason, and then there was potentially some like infidelity going on there. And so I don't think G-Man wants to be perceived that way. Like he has some sense of conscience that says that he doesn't want to be that guy, but at the same time, like I think he absolutely does think he's like like Shanny's gift from God or something like that. Like that's the way I kind of perceive the scenario. Like somewhere down the line, he would like turn her, like bend her to his will or some shit.
You
Like,
want
I
me
don't
to
know.
be a villain. You want people to hate me. You know, the last time I was hated on here, I kind of embarrassed several people in this community when I did that. Would you like a little taste of what happened? Because I can do that if you like. You want some tea? Let me give you some tea, sir. No. And it's nothing special. It ain't no like great tea or anything like that. I'm not gonna give you anything like you haven't seen before. You know what I mean? Because you're so knowledgeable about everything. But it was this woman
What
on
the
this,
fuck is he
on
talking
this
about?
platform. Her name was Miss Parker. She's on this milk carton. TV
Oh
knows all
my
about her.
god.
She got on here and her audience paid her husband to come on here and talk smack about G-Man. I'm not going to play the rap, but I am going to show you the beginning of it so that you can know to whom I'm talking about.
I'm just going to speak up on what y'all don't know, but in regards to my wife,
Throwing people's wives on here and they're not really married. That's the problem. They're not really married. You know? That's why.
Well, I mean, so like, what does he mean by that? Is he talking about common law? Because common law marriage exists. I don't know. I don't like. Some people do just call themselves husband and wives without ever going through the legal process. And I think most states, or at least many states, there is like some rule of common law marriage where if you're together for a certain number of years, then they just consider you married, even if you never go through the process of going through the whatever. So.
When I got motivated enough, video pictures like this came out. Yeah, he wasn't married to her and he was cheating on Miss Parker. Destroyed that part of YouTube. Absolutely destroyed it. And I did it because it had to be done, because these people got to learn. If you mess with.
I don't know about any of that. I've listened to Miss Parker and Black Eye TV for a while. I've never heard of any of this supposed drama.
If you're gonna come at me like the rest, you're gonna go down by the best. I don't think that's the way I was supposed to say it. So if you're gonna come after me, sir, put some effort into your trash. Please put some effort into your trash. Please, sir, put some effort into your trash. Stop coming on here with your little lipstick. And by the way, sir, red does not look good on you. Red does not look good on you. Neither does all that hair that come out the right here. That's not even yours. You probably look more like me. But to feel good about yourself, you have to have that hair coming all the way down to here.
Yeah, just a lot of transphobic shit posting here. Maybe we'll come back to this one day. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's see what's going on over here. Oh, Smokey's streaming again.
It doesn't matter what you evaluate. It means nothing. You were shitting in your pants. When she was out here proclaiming the free grace gospel, you were shitting in your pants. Okay, so if there's someone,
and like I said, you're still.
If there's someone you should stay away from,
Okay,
it's
come
Renee.
on. So,
I'm not
we're
going on the come on thing. Renee has done more things for free grace than you ever will in a million seminaries that you go to. I don't care how many.
I'm not denying that.
I don't care how many seminaries you go through and what you come up with. Renee Rowland has done more for free grace than you ever will.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying
you're not
that.
denying it.
These people are fucking unhinged. I mean, it is a guilty pleasure. I do watch. I didn't see this one, but yeah.
We're going to be able to
The reality is you are full of shit at all times. I fucking know it. You're full of shit.
You're not
I know you're
respecting
full of
Praise's
shit.
channel. You're not respecting
I'm not
Praise's
interested
channel.
in respecting channels. I'm interested in respecting the
well,
gospel, which you're not.
You and I will talk sometime in the future.
I don't
I'm
give
done
a
with
shit.
it.
Good, get out. Get the fuck out. You piece of shit. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, Renee has some scientifically unrelated idiosyncrasies in what she teaches, but she's still free grace. She doesn't believe it. We have different beliefs on hell and stuff, but she hasn't deviated from free grace.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, it might be some inaccuracies with some stuff, but yeah, I mean, like that doesn't determine it overall, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know what she believes about the rapture. I don't know. So, but that, like I said, she's still free grace when it comes to.
I'm never gonna
Go raid Wildheart here. See what he's up to. Still alive? Yeah. Ooh. Lots of folks over here.
The European Championships, English football, they went to like Taiwan or somewhere before, and they all went to the dentist chair and they just poured alcohol down their throats. Yeah.
But if you've seen the movie Brazil, you'll know what I'm talking about, because the guy from Monty Python played the dentist. One of Eric, what's his
Eric
name?
Idle. Eric Idle.
I think that's his name. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So if you are here, you know, I'm gonna post the link down here, and you can run over and tell him Ape says hi. Or just, you know, go over there and see what's going on. Big John Lovell, good to see you. These are the days of our lives. Yes, like sand through the hourglass or some bullshit. And then the sand, it becomes representative of time. Yeah, so therefore, no, I'm not even going to try to make an argument with that. I just found Wildheart 4 channel, because I the last couple of times I've been over there I was looking at the wrong one. It's got so many fucking channels open now, but apparently this is the current one. So
Yeah, the woman walks in and goes, "Oh, you got a penguin on top of the television set." That's not just any penguin. And then they go, "The penguin on top of the television is about to explode," and then it just fucking explodes, and the people like standing.
Quick aside, I've been watching this series on Netflix called Norseman. It's I don't know how old it is, but you know, anyway, but it's hilarious because we were watching like the Vikings series and shit, you know, which is a little bit older, and then we found this series called Norseman. I guess it's actually made in Denmark, but they have like a very Monty Python style. It's a very dark comedy about like Viking culture and shit, but it's pretty hilarious. It's done in a similar style. I was just commenting on that last night. I was like, this is very similar to like Monty Python humor.
And cheese sketch.
I know the big fat. You know when he eats so much that he explodes.
Oh, that's the Kentucky Fried Movie. There's a
Is that
scene
what-
where this guy, he's eating, and they're in a restaurant, and all of a sudden, he just, and the food goes all over.
No, it's also Monty
Well, that's a fun
Python, but it's the
conversation.
movie.
We're gonna go back to content though. Actually, you know what? I want to see right now what's going on over here. Yeah, I follow these fucking assholes. Oh no, it says they're live, but they're apparently not live. Did it not like refresh? Are they live or are they not live? Because it doesn't look like they're live. It says they're live, but then when I go there, they're actually not. Alright, let's go hit the bin podcast. I think the last time the bin podcast rated me, I assumed it was Mikey, but it could just as well have been Tim, I suppose.
What's that?
Because I always forget that, you know, there's like 2 hosts over at the bin podcast. Also, Ollie Man is over there frequently. I don't know if he has mod status though. It says we're live, but are we live? Okay, I guess we're live. Yeah, I just hit the wrong one.
Some people do things because they're fun, guy. Everyone just wants to argue with people all day.
Agreed. So we're doing like a bare knuckle boxing game today.
Either get up or get down. There.
That's some pretty responsive gameplay. I like that. I tried like the test version of one of these fucking mobile apps where you're supposed to do like street fighting or whatever, and it was such stupid bullshit. I was so angry.
Fights aren't the greatest. Especially the ones that like don't end once you hit the ground. Then you gotta make these guys give up.
Yeah, and
I thought that Roman's Truth guy already.
Totally recommend the bin podcast for political stuff, and you know they do gaming and stuff too. So link there. Yeah, they do a lot of good content over at the Big Ben Podcast Network, and got that down there. I see. Oh, Tog, saw that. we caught you guys. No. Big Sean Level says RSB banned me. Yeah, I avoid their comments thread. Yeah, because I know we'd probably get kicked out pretty quick, and we need to be able to review this fucking content, man. They put a lot of crazy shit out over there. Skeptic Philosophy back at work, in and out. Oh, thank you for stopping by either way. I appreciate you. I lurk while working often too, so that's why sometimes I will view videos and I'm not up in the comments because, you know, I just know I don't have the bandwidth for engagement and people will distract me and, you know, like, so I have to be, you know, kind of pretend that I'm focused on work most of the time, I guess.
And a knockdown, or whatever Seller Retribution is. I don't want to fight the champion.
We'll go back over here. He's still on. So we'll do this till we
play a
end.
part in the development of an organism. And some of those are what we call homeobox genes, and within the homeobox genes, we have a subset called Hox genes. And what we can do is we can narrow down and down and down and down until we get to this is the gene that puts this chemical marker right here, and that's where you're gonna grow a goddamn arm.
See what I'm saying? Right there, he exposed himself so bad.
Happy birthday to me.
Thank you.
Almost 1 year of catechesis and we are eligible
Beautiful.
for baptism.
Beautiful.
So after our third comes in
What the
April,
fuck?
we'll dunk the whole family in the spring. Absolutely nothing to do with you Auto Bros. All glory to God.
Absolutely. Thank you for telling me that. That's beautiful. Ah!
Still so weird that he has a racist Middle Eastern meme reading his super chats for him, but
We're eligible for baptism. So after our third comes in April, we'll dunk the whole family in the spring. Absolutely nothing to do with you Auto Bros. All glory to God.
Glory to God. That's amazing. All right, so you notice what he said so far, right? Well, there's a GD arm that's going to grow. Yeah, that's what's in question, Forrest. That's what's in question. If there's a marker for where an arm's going to grow, that means the body plan for an arm growing already exists. You just refuted your entire random mutation process. It's not random if there's a marker for where the arm's going to grow. Is there a wrong place the arm grows, Forrest? This is why you ask these people.
well, yeah, I mean, it would just like it would. So we have people with fucking specific mutations. We call these defects, birth defects, right? Where their appendages don't grow in the correct placement, right? And it causes severe disability to them, right? Sometimes those appendages are not even usable because they're not correctly attached to like the musculoskeletal framework, right? Like, so in humans, in any fucking mammal, right? Anything really with a spine, right? There's a particular way that these appendages have to be lined up in order for it to be functional, because it's all based off of. So yeah, there's like a framework for how these things fit together, and whenever there's an anomaly there, usually it's non-functional or it has a lesser function, right? Because it is not attached in a particular way. But that doesn't mean that it was designed. That's not an argument for that.
It really is. It really is easier. It's easier than you think. Now they try to drown you in terms, right? They'll come up with some, technical chemical term, and if you're like lost on it, they're like, you have no idea. But they can't answer these basic questions. So even the dumbest 7th grader could ask this question.
And skeptic philosophy, I'm a sales and service guy, so always on the road. Well, that's a plus.
And
I did that for a while, and it didn't. At the time, it didn't line up for me. So I was good with being a service guy, but when I found out the tactics of some of the salespeople in the industry I was in, it kind of upset me. And part of that was like why I left, because I knew as a service person what they were promising on the sales end, and when customers would come at me upset about not receiving the services that they expected, I felt like a sense of guilt because I felt like I knew how they'd gotten swindled, But that was in, the industry I was in at that time, so. I'm not saying it's like always that way, but these guys I felt were a bit like manipulative,
Look at him looking for the answers everywhere, but we don't know. Everywhere, but we don't know. Totally dancing.
The length of how your arm grows, anything like that, that's going to be a very different gambit than if I just modify the fundamental gene of what an arm is, what it looks like, where it grows. I'm trying to remember these terms because it's been a long time and I didn't actually expect to talk about this today. We kind of decided on a couple of these things right before the stream started. But
you're not answering a single thing, greaseball.
You've got 4 different.
Buddy, we literally need terms in order. Well, terms are not literal, by the way. To describe things in science. Just because that offends you doesn't mean it's not true. Yeah, you're still not answering the question. You don't even know what I asked here. You guys are so lost. You guys are so lost. You don't even know the question that I asked him. They can't. Yeah, that's how lost they are. They can't even understand the questions.
Different parts of.
I'm like, how does random mutation as a mechanism produce the arm? He says.
Does Jim Bob know what a non sequitur is? Like, I feel like he doesn't know what a non sequitur is, or he just can't acknowledge that his line of questioning is that, like.
And the game plan for growing an arm.
When we talk about evolutionary developmental biology, that is when a structure grows, where a structure grows. Oh, I had this memorized. Give me 2 seconds. I've got it written.
It doesn't matter what you memorized. You're not answering the question.
Down right here. Damn it.
Where and look, this is how easy it is for these people. That's why he doesn't want to debate. He'd be in such shit, dude, if he debated me on this, because I would
debate me, bro.
That no matter what he says, the way in which
he was like complaining earlier because there was like, I guess he said there was like an 8-page list of like terms that he could not use in the debate, and a lot of it pertained to like anti-Semitism and stuff, which Jim Bob is, you know, obviously guilty of a lot of that, just racism in general and anti-Semitism specifically, but not just that, right? Like he's got like a number of you know, pet yeah, like I would call them microaggressions, I guess, is like the way you would categorize those, where it's like, oh, okay, you're not saying the thing outright, but we know what you mean by that, you know, and he does it fucking all the time.
Metamorphosis. The coding for it has to precede the actualizing of it, right? And so this is an argument that goes against the evolutionary view that anything's random to begin with. But it certainly doesn't tell you.
Well, coding is like a bad analogy for what you're talking about, right? It doesn't. I mean, we're describing something that looks like a code, but that it implies a coder, right? Which is why they try to make this fucking fallacy about genes. So it's like, oh, if it looks like it's in a sequence, then somebody must have designed that sequence, which is not necessarily the case. Like things can fall into a sequence by random happenstance that doesn't necessarily. It's not contingent upon designer.
At all. He somehow got Dexter's shirt from Forever 21.
Look, what a fool I am! I don't remember these terms.
Flipped, destroyed, evolution destroyed, creation.
You see, they're so low tier that if that happened to me, they would sort of focus in on it. I'm not focusing in on the fact he doesn't remember this.
When common creation W.
I'm gonna.
I think people would have more respect for you overall if you actually did like pull out a book and reference, or really any type of citation from Jim Bob, because this all appears to come directly out of his anus mouth, you know.
All comes down to like these single tiny mutations. Think about if you were to draw.
Nope. That's question begging, Forrest.
Like, and I claim.
He's saying what this arm is and what it does comes down to the mutations. Well, no, now you're contradicting yourself. You're saying, you just said just before, dude, that the DNA has a proper place and time to then hit the development button for an arm. That means the arm already existed. That means an arm existed.
Okay, so I was kind of lost in that thought, so I wanted to let him finish, but he's still going. Anyway. So I don't claim like expertise in these areas, right? Like I have some kind of like limited general knowledge, right? And so it's different for like, okay, if he's challenging Forrest, he's challenging Erica, who have like very specific expertise in certain fields of study that they do, right? Versus like Jim Bob, who's like, well, I'm an engineer, so and I have some limited, you know, knowledge and, you know, the many things that I've studied, you know, I can't remember the term for it now, but right, like I study this shit on my own, and so Jim Bob's like, I am very special, because I'm an engineer and I like to look at these topics, right? But nobody else out, you know, like claiming, you know, this like limited general knowledge of you know, the categories we like to study in our spare time and stuff, is like, oh, I'm an expert in this field. But Jim Bob, you know, is this special kind of character who says, well, because I've done this, right, I now think that I can discredit people within their fields, right, which is absolutely bonkers. But then when somebody who actually has, you know, has certificates, somebody who can kind of back up the shit that's coming out of their mouth, goes to reference a book and says, hey, look, here's other people, you know, citations and sources external to me, Jim Bob uses that as like, oh, well, you know, if I looked at a book, and it's like, no, if you looked at a book, people might have more respect for you and you wouldn't be such a fucking lolcow, right? The problem is that we don't see you looking at books. We don't see you ever checking your own fucking knowledge. So that's a problem, right? There's no humility in this fucking humble Christian at all.
That whatever animal this is, with these markers triggering the unfolding events of an arm developing and growing, it means the body plan for having an arm already exists. And now he's going back into and obfuscating and talking about random mutations. No,
He's wrong. So the body plan for having an arm, right? And I can say this as a layperson, right? It's not significantly different from the body plan for having a fin. It's not significantly different from the body plan for having a wing, right? All of these structures follow a similar pattern, and then once they differentiate in certain areas, that's where it gets kind of weird, right? But it's still explainable. And all of these creatures have, they're vertebrates. So, you got that part. And so the body plan is based on the design of the spinal column, the layout of the appendages related to that spinal column, how it all, So there's some symmetry behind that, even in animals with like very different appendage styles.
Everything you set up to this point wasn't random at all. You just said there's a specific marker and a specific place and time to trigger the unfolding development of a...
C.P.S. Lewis, have they mentioned penises yet? No, I think he's trying to stay far away from the penises at this point. he's like, don't mention me mentioning penises. That was hilarious, by the way. I saw. Were you the one that did that BS with the penis compilation? Now that I'm thinking of it, yeah. Skeptic Philosophy says, I'd love to see a debate between them. Do you mean Jim Bob and Forrest, or I'm not sure who we're referring to there. I just like to see Forrest do a debunk. I think that would be funny enough. But yeah, no, he won't. He's pretty adamant on not agreeing to talk to him at this point.
And if you're off in building a house, engineering-wise, by even 1/8 of an inch at the base, right, whether it's the foundation or the framing, right, if you're off, that exponentially increases error. This is an argument from error.
I don't idolize actors or celebrities, but one of my...
Yeah, I think this is another, like, he was making this point, it might have been when he was talking to Professor Dave, but he said something like, he kept saying accident. And I noticed the creationist and Jim Bob especially use these terms in specific ways, right? Where whenever he talks about something happening accidentally, well, an accident applies an agent who did something in error, right? Incident applies to something that happens naturally, which, may not be, right? Like, so it might not be advantageous, right? It happens, but it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by incident, right? These things happen in nature that non-advantageous mutations occur or whatever, and then you have an animal who's not benefited by like selective pressures or whatever, and facets of natural or sexual selection, right? And then they try to say that these anomalies, these anomalies are like indicators of some type of flaw in the system, which is kind of true in a way, right? But it's not a design flaw, right? It's a flaw of the nature of things which occur without being pre-programmed by intelligence, right? If you think about it that way, then it makes perfect sense. It's like, okay, if it was intelligent design, then the code would come through perfectly and you would never have these mutation errors, right? But because it does happen slowly over time, and nature does not have an intelligent design driving the process, then these incidents occur, and they're mere anomalies, and they don't necessarily have to be accounted for, other than some people just draw the shit end of the stick, and that's about it, right? Like,
mutation produce untargeted, highly specialized systems that do things. His argument is, well, if you're off with an angle, then the extrapolation of that being off, that's assuming there's such a thing as off, dude. You're literally walking into my argument against you. That's assuming anything's off. How do you know something's off? They have no...
So then anybody with a birth defect was actually designed to be that way? That's a weird way to kind of manipulate the conversation, right? To say that God makes mistakes, but God never makes mistakes. Everything he does is perfect. So therefore, if somebody has a birth defect, then God must have done it on purpose, right? Obviously.
No idea, dude. Listen to what he's saying.
What it looks like, where it grows. I'm trying to remember these terms because it's been a long time and I didn't actually expect to talk about this today. We kind of decided on a couple of these things right before the stream started. But you've got four different parts of when we talk about evolutionary developmental biology. That is when a structure grows, where a structure grows.
See what I'm saying? He's actually arguing for a correct place and time for these things, which goes against his fundamental paradigm.
He's trying to argue against your position.
Stuff, but they don't learn how to question or actually understand stuff. Yes, that's right. The irony is that they think Christians are the ones under indoctrination without any questioning. They're so cooked.
This memorize. Give me 2 seconds. I've got it written down right here. Damn it! What a fool I am! I don't remember these terms.
Flipped, destroyed, evolution destroyed, creation win, common creation W.
I'm gonna common creation W.
Hearing atheists explain themselves and how they carry themselves.
My question is, if this stream is nearly 7 hours long, how long will Jim Bob spend reviewing it? Is it gonna take like multiple segments?
Some people like Colossus, the guy. Maybe if we get to it, I'll review. Who did this philosophical? He actually steel man properly.
The fuck is that guy?
My argument.
I will take some time to try to find, because I've got it in one of my old textbooks.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like he's skipped. Like he's near the end of it now, so he must have skipped a lot of it.
Really great terms that he uses.
Great terms he uses.
Watching Jim Bob kicking the door on the Avatar Clubhouse.
It's great. It is. It's quite fun.
I want to use them, but the point is, like, every part of what this limb is all comes down to like these single tiny mutations. Think about it.
Yeah. You're granting yourself the limb. Everything that a limb is comes down to pre-existing information that tells it to grow. But now you're saying random mutations.
If you were to draw an angle on a piece of paper, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
an angle.
At some point, there must have been a mutation for limbs, specifically, right? Like. So, and then we have, bipeds, quadrupeds, right? Like, so all of those mutations happen secondarily, like, but they all have 4 limbs in varied, so, and then you have, like, other animals that have 6 or 8 appendages, right? But maybe they're invertebrates or what have you, right? So, like, all of these different design structures come from evolution through diversification of species, right? That's after the initial mutation to develop a limb, right? And then some animals don't have limbs. So I don't even know what the fuck what was that?
And they come to these conclusions in their schooling and don't question this. If there's a wide variety of outcomes from the evolutionary paradigm,
I don't even like the term limbs there. I think appendages is more appropriate, right? Because not all appendages are limbs, but the appendages themselves still may exist.
Insofar as development, quote, which doesn't exist, development, that assumes a target, development. If there's a wide variety of...
Development does not assume a target. Development can just happen. Development is like synonymous with like growth or a mutation. Those are developments. They don't have to be targeted by anything.
Outcomes, being that 1 degree off in this analogy can produce widely different changes, then you're arguing against them.
Well, in that case, you would have so much more variation than what we actually see, right? If it was just that evolution just worked all willy-nilly and, like people would just grow fins, and it would just. But evolution doesn't actually work that way. It develops structures that are functional and they're able to be maintained over time through successive generations over millions of years.
Likelihood of hyper-specialized, nuanced function with these things being the result of this process. You're saying random mutation actually would produce necessarily so a wide spectrum of outcomes.
And it has, yeah.
But hyper-specialization inside the body of mechanisms and what things do is narrow.
Yeah, to each individual species, but the number of species, right, is what makes your theory not make sense. People aren't just turning into fish, and fish aren't just turning into people. Over millions of years, fish and people have diverged from common ancestry to have those hyper specialization, right?
It's narrow, and it's maintained narrow. This is totally against your view. You have brain rot, dude. This is why you'd get absolutely annihilated, dude.
Down the road. And so what we're talking about evolutionary developmental biology, one of the really important things is that, like...
This is another qualifier he says. When people say, oh, it's really important, really important. It's really important.
It's not just...
What you guys need to hear from me is everything but my answer, and I'm going to tell you what's really important. That's not the answer. Total gaslight. This is why they hate their own audience. He gaslights his own audience. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So hilarious. Put a quick wit on these fucking guys.
What?
Evolution has millions of peer-reviewed data points from genetics, paleontology. Data needs an interpretation. That's meaningless. We can draw data points from all of reality to say that the intuition that God exists points to that being the case. So you don't even know what you're arguing. The reason you're saying things like this, moralist, is that you're not like Forrest.
Isn't that called intersubjectiveness or something like that, where it's like, okay, that's why we don't accept, even though the majority of anecdotes may claim to have some experience with God, because they can't be experienced by the other person. Is that? I want to make sure I'm looking.
Nitty, good Nitty. We can always count on Nitty, who you're going to be called a racist, sympathizing, neo-Yahtzee Nitty if you do this. But yeah, please do, Nitty. Please. What? I thought, Nitty, maybe you agree with me. My question was really clear.
Yeah, I saw the video you did on Nitty and B.S. Lewis's video with Nitty and Guro. That was hilarious too. I saw that recently. I had not seen that one before. Intersubjective is an adjective describes shared understandings, meanings, and experiences between multiple conscious minds, acting as a middle ground between purely subjective or personal and objective or universal perspectives. It refers to phenomena created by social agreement, like money or culture, that are real to a group but not physical facts. Okay, so maybe that's not... No. So... yeah, I'm thinking of intersubjective experience and how, when we share an understanding and we have an agreement on this, right, which are not the same as this, yeah. So, okay. That's what I was thinking of.
Even though I didn't explain how random mutation produces hyper-specialized functions in the future, I actually argued that random mutation, the changes early on, produce a wide scale of varying outcomes away from hyper-specialized things for these organs. Forrest, the type of quote dude.
All right, and I'm gonna have to shut it down now. I've had enough fun. I do have to get to my studies, but yeah. So it's Monday. Happy Monday. Have a happy holiday. No fucking kings in America, motherfuckers, and also abolish ICE. Basically, that's it. And oh yeah, and we probably get rid of the president while we're at it. and the vice president and all of his, administration. Much love to everybody. Be kind, be well, and stay trusty. And I will try to be back sooner rather than later. Because, it do be like that. But anyway, all right. I'll see you on the next one. Or maybe not. I don't know. Bye.